Hey, how's it going? It's November 12th, 2022. This is your Daily Sweet Talk. So Twitter looks like it's going under. I did see someone say that it seems more likely that it would just become very cheap and then be sold off to someone else. But I also think there's a very good chance that Muskrat would whatever, what's his face, uh, would not let that happen. I think he would rather uh, waste. I think he's already lost so much money that he'd be willing to just let it burn. Um, and with that in mind, another tweet I saw being made fun of. I didn't even see the tweet. I just saw someone making fun of it. Was to say um, to archive your Twitter data for historical purposes. But yeah, do that. If you have Twitter, archive your tweets. Do that because for better or for worse, a lot of world history is played out on Twitter at this point. We've had over a decade of news and world events documented through this social media platform, and we see the world's reaction. And there's plenty of awful stuff on Twitter. And granted, these archives will not be a complete picture because it's not going to be all of Twitter. And I'm sure there's already other archives besides just backing up your data. But I do think it's important to try to make note of this and to try to preserve it as much as possible. Just like with any, it doesn't need to be good to be saved. This is sort of how it is with my YouTube archiving as well. Like, I think old school YouTube stuff is interesting and notable, and maybe it all hasn't aged well. But even the stuff that hasn't aged well, I do think it's interesting. It's an interesting slice of what the internet was like at that time. And if Twitter, God forbid, Twitter was just erased completely overnight, that would be a huge loss. I honestly, when I see someone's account gets deleted, I'm like, oh, that's kind of a shame. A lot of interactions are lost. A lot of context is lost. Context is important. Historical context, cultural context. It's all very important. Even if it's Twitter, even if it's Tumblr, whatever. It doesn't need to be good. That being said, again, there is a lot of stuff on there that is not worth saving, probably. Even like with historical context in mind, because there's a lot of spam, a lot of trash, a lot of whatever. There's just like with anything. I mean, it's the same with libraries. I'm sure libraries have to throw out books sometimes. They're there to preserve books and preserve culture, but some culture is just so little in demand that it does not get preserved. I'm talking like a self-published book that is literally just someone holding their fingers down on a keyboard. There's so many bots on Twitter. There, even beyond just the fake accounts. There's bots that just repost stuff, links to T-shirts and stuff. That doesn't need to be saved. But that's not the whole site. And there is a lot of stuff on Twitter that culturally I think is important to save for context and for historical purposes. I guess you could say it that way. I mean, who knows what will happen in 100 years if it'll be, but it is important to save.